Russia's invasion of Ukraine reminds us that the world is still a very dangerous place, where many nations and non-state actors hold worldviews fundamentally different than those of most Americans. Having spent much of my adult life in the military looking at these threats, I'm concerned that in some ways they're more menacing now than they were several decades ago. But I also feel reasonably confident that if we stay vigilant, work with our allies, in a bipartisan manner, leverage our huge advantages, we can effectively deal with them. But since I retired from the military, I've come to sense another threat to our future, an equally challenging one that also requires a systemic national security response. In this case, though, the threat is internal and centers around the fragile state of our middle class and limitations on economic mobility. To me, this threat runs to the core of who we are as a nation. Our country was founded on the premise that every person can succeed if they apply themselves. Many have, and over time we've built a large middle class that has proven to be a source of strength for the nation. But for some Americans, this success has remained aspirational, and over the last few decades, the gap between those succeeding and those falling behind has grown. And the impact has been felt across the nation, from rural areas to Rust Belt communities to large urban areas. According to Pew Research, in 1971, the percentage of American adults living in middle-income households was 61%. In 2021, it was 50%. During the same period, the percentage of adults in upper-tier income households rose from 14% to 21%, while those in lower-income households grew from 25 to 29%. This is not just an economic challenge, but a national security issue that is becoming an existential threat. A thriving middle class and achievable economic mobility drive a belief in institutions and political stability, which is central to our basic functioning as a rational, practical, and civil democracy. Watch any newscast today for 5 minutes, and you'll see that we've lost this. It's a complex issue. It's driven by numerous factors. A loss of manufacturing over decades has been a key one. Another is the rapid pace of technological change that is increasingly driving which skills are paid well and which are relegated to low wages. A third involves the impact of race over several centuries. Compounding all this are unknowns about the long-term impact of COVID on education, on wages, on employment, and on the workforce. And a central challenge is the fact that our politics have become so polarized, there's no space for frank conversation on functional solutions. Widely differing agendas have become so fragmented that we've lost a practical sense of life and a focus on a common American interest. The idea that everyone, no matter who you are, where you live, or where you're from, can succeed here. Successive U.S. administrations have formed their own response to these challenges at the national level with limited success. At this point, I think we need to reassess execution at the community level, where a majority of the focus is on mitigation, not on solving core challenges upstream. We specifically need to find a bipartisan systemic solution that aligns the community's efforts on solving the problem. In an attempt to do this, we started a small nonprofit whose goal is to help communities build a systemic process that enables all public school students to achieve a true living wage job, a job that supports a good home, transportation, and the ability to raise a family if that's what they desire. The goal is to not operate on the margins or make incremental improvement, but to make success the norm for every public school student. The concept centers on a public-private partnership that coordinates a systemic process designed to engage students and parents from middle school through high school into post-high school adulthood, into first employment. Working with the school system and other social organizations, the program executes a number of specific tasks designed to achieve this goal. These tasks include, first, running a structured career exploration program that allows all middle school and high school students and their parents to understand their interest and skills and develop a career plan, participate in career exposure activities like short-term internships, and find resources required to meet their goal. And most importantly, to leave high school with a coherent way ahead. Second, running a mentor program that supports students from middle school into post-high school early adulthood, and provides assistance across a range of needs. From limited interactions such as developing a certain skill to a more intense long-term relationship to deal with a complex challenge. Third, augment transportation to ensure that getting there, maybe to a job, maybe to an internship, but getting there isn't the obstacle to success. And fourth, once a year assess progress against a goal and make required adjustments. This is an iterative process, and over time we intend to find out what works. The primary measure of success is the number of students that actually attain a living wage job. The secondary measure of success is the number of households with incomes less than $35,000 a year that move into the $50,000 to $75,000 plus level. This is a long-term decadal effort. We've been executing an internal pilot program in Haverhill, Massachusetts for a couple of years, and we've made some initial progress. We have a full-time director. We have support from the school system, the city government, and parts of the business community. And we're working now to expand the effort to meet the required scale. We're also looking at a couple other sites to do pilots. Our intent is to build a process that can be used in any community in the U.S., again with the intent to live up to the promise that everyone in America from all backgrounds, in all types of communities, rural, Rust Belt, urban, can succeed. We're also looking for advocates who are willing to publicly champion this effort. This is a long-term challenge. We're in the very early stages of execution, and we need your assistance. Now, dealing with the external security threats I outlined in my opening is essential to protecting our future. But systemically extending the notion of the American dream to all Americans and sustaining a large middle class is also central to our nation's long-term viability, strength, and welfare. Our program is an initial effort to find a practical, nonpartisan, and effective solution to achieve this at the community level. For more information, please check out our websites. And if you'd like to help us, please contact us. Thank you.